A question that I get quite often on my live streams over on Twitch is, why am I not using the Zag tactics anymore? Well, that is quite simple. I don't feel like they're worth it to me with my kind of playstyle. And why do I feel they're not worth it? Simply because, especially on Quattro Calinas, I do a lot of spotting rather than tracking anything. It's so easy to run around on the mountain, so easy to run around the lakes and spot around the entire lake rather than try to run around the entire lake and try to find those tracks that has diamond potential. The Zag Tactics is definitely still a viable thing, but I'm gonna go through my skills and perks here in this video without the Zag Tactics and try to give you an idea why I've taken what I have. Well, first one is easy. Locate tracks makes it easier for you to go ahead and track them. 3 out of 3 in track knowledge reveals information about the animal's gender, reveals information about the approximate animal group size when investigating need zone tracks, and animals' approximate health when investigating blood trails, and level 3 gives you weight when investigating footprints and fur type when investigating disturbed vegetation. So this one helps you out with that as well. Connected dots just makes it a little easier when you're tracking an animal and it has done a runaround and might have crossed its own path. 2 out of 2 in soft feed, which might be the most important skill in the entire game. This does help you a lot because probably around 90% of the animals you're going to be scaring by sound. Do whatever you can to help you make less sound. Don't wear backpacks either. In its Triangulation, each level decreases the size of the animal vocalization indicator in the world, making it easier to pinpoint the position of the animal that produced a call. Very good when you're running around and getting a warning call or just even a mating call. Improvised blind, well, easier to hide when calling in animals or just sneaking up on them in bushes. Endurance, all that walking has to be good for something, right? Increases your endurance so that your heart rate rises slower when moving and falls faster when idling. Simply just makes it easier to take a fast shot if you're running around like I do. I run a lot and just makes my life easier. Disturbed vegetation, after I think it's like 2 patches ago, they kind of did where the disturbed veg is only dropped in the need zones for some reason, so it's not as OP anymore as it used to be. 1 out of 4 in Scent Tinkerer simply because I need to have 1 point to get to tier 1. Spotting knowledge, I have 3 out of 3, and if you're running the Zag Tactics you only want to have 1 out of 3 in that one. But 3 out of 3 for approximate health of the animal, approximate trophy rating and weight of the animal, and reveals information about how aware the animal is to nearby threats. Down here, the more the merrier. It's basically just a throwaway point for me. I don't need this point for anything other than getting to tier 2 where I can get sight spotting, which is gonna change your life. Makes you have the opportunity to spot with your weapon and not with your binos only. Really, really good one. And my last but not least, Fatal Attraction. Anyone can use a caller, but it takes a true artist to do it well. Again, I don't use callers very often, but on the other hand, when I then do, might as well have this. Impact resistant. It could make sense for me to take it, but I believe in my ability to save my ass whenever I jump down from anywhere with a medkit. If you're fast enough, as soon as you start losing health, if you have a medkit in hand, use it as soon as you start losing just a single bit of health, and you will have like a 0.5 second worth of trying to save your ass when you're hitting the ground. A lot of people might want to go and try to get Pack Mule as well. I don't need it. I have loadouts working around not going over the 20 unit capacity, and therefore I did not take Pack Mule. And in my perks, I have centered everything around making my rifles as easy to use and as powerful as possible. I don't use bows very much, I don't use handguns very much, and shotguns is basically only for waterfowl. So all of these has been set up to make the strongest rifle setup at all. Muscle memory. Increase ready speed after firing all weapons and unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving aim modes for rifles, shotguns and handguns. That's a good one, so you don't have to lose track of your target when you're shooting. Breath control. Decreased heart rate penalty from exhaling, which reduces the cooldown until your breath can be held again. Increase the duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath, and decrease the aim wobble when holding your breath. The last one is the important one in this one. Steady hands. Decreased wobble when in aim mode using any weapon. This one, very self-explanatory. Zeroing unlocks short range zero, which is the 150 and the 75 one for rifles. Unlocks the long range zero, which is the 300 for the rifles. But that's the ones you need. In rifles, handguns, I am running sprint and load. Unlocks the ability to reload weapons while running. Very, very good when you're running around as much as I do. Quick feed. Recover steady aim faster after changing stances when using handguns. Yep. Throwaway point. Ranger. Throwaway point as well. Lightning hands though. Decreases reload time of all weapons. Each level unlocked increases the effect. Very good one. Quick draw is for hip shots only. I use those to troll with. I don't use them anywhere in a hunting scenario, so not really too worried about this. Both eyes open, decreased edge blow when using shotguns. Yep, throwaway point because we don't use shotguns very often, but we need to get to body control to get to recoil management. Less recoil when firing any weapon and able to fire a follow-up shot sooner. Each level unlocked increases the effect. In archery, you need 1 out of 3 in full draw to get to move and shoot. Decreased wobble while moving in aim mode using any weapon. It's basically so you can move from side to side, front, back, do whatever, and keep a steady aim. You can then actually start spotting with your gun like this when you're going around, because if you don't have it, your gun is pretty much going to go like this while you're moving. So very, very important one to have as well. But as I said, this is very much centered around hunting with rifles only. I don't use a lot of callers. I don't do a lot of tracking either these days. So if you want to have a more in-depth view of how I hunt, please come follow my Twitch. I stream pretty much every day. Twitch.tv/ZaggiDK.